Hi, this is Peter Godinez, your ambassador with KEDY TV, with another segment of Good Morning Oxnard, Port Hueneme. And I think I'm going to mix that back and forth. So why do you say Oxnard first? So I'm going to move it around a little bit. But I have a special segment, editorial with George Miller of CitizenJournalUS.com. I'm getting quite good at that, I think, but not getting
.us.
.us. See, oh man, I messed up again. Anyway, that's how you learn. But anyway, he has a special report, and I'd like you to make a little announcement about it.
Okay, well, most of you are familiar now with the Gaviota Refugio Beach oil spill that happened, which is the biggest oil spill in a half a century in Southern California. That's the bad news. The good news is it's not nearly as bad as it's been portrayed. Obviously, it's not good when the beaches are foul with oil and birds are waterlogged with oil. But the fact is that it was a lot different than the big Unocal oil spill in 1969, which spilled millions and millions of gallons from offshore oil platforms, which then blew in and covered a wide range of beaches and caused massive damage to the tourism and recreational industry for quite a while. And in a way it was good because the shock forced an environmental movement and restrictions on oil drillers that brought in much better procedures that not only helped prevent a lot of spills, but also created reaction when spills occur. Mm-hmm. For example, in the cove outside of Santa Barbara Harbor is an oil response unit sitting there anchored, ready to go on fairly short notice. There's another such unit right in Hueneme, the Port of Hueneme as well.
Right.
And those units and others were deployed quickly after the spill, and really it was cleaned up rather rapidly. Now, we have one of our writers, David Pooh, who's a really amazing guy. The name Pooh is Hawaiian, by the way. He looks like a Hawaiian god, when you see him out on a surfboard and stuff like that, bronze, in the sun, riding down the wave or something like that. But he's kind of a Renaissance man. He's not only a surfer, but he's also an excellent photographer, makes his living doing that, makes his living various surfing-related things. He's also a very excellent writer. If you go in and Google David Pooh, that's spelled P-U', or go on to Citizens Journal and put his name in, you'll see a number of very interesting articles. He's written one for us just this last Tuesday, where basically he said, I'm an environmentalist, but geez, you guys have really exaggerated this spill for whatever ends that you have, and you're sending the wrong message. First of all, it's keeping people away from the beach, which we don't want to do, because the beaches are very useful.
Right.
I was out to the beach Monday and Tuesday taking pictures at Oxnard Shores, and you know what? Yes, there's always tar on the beach, because I get it on my shoes all the time, but there's nothing like what you hear. It's simply not a serious problem. Mm-hmm. So you have to ask ourselves, why is this happening? Well, one maybe is for ratings. They say when it leads, if it bleeds, it leads. That's,
right.
That's an
expression.
Heard that a while
later.
We found that out with Citizen Journal. We have analysis where we can know exactly how many people are reading each article, and guess which articles are the most popular?
I'm afraid to ask, so better answer.
Anything about crime, sensationalism, also dogs and children. Those are by far the most popular things on Citizens Journal. Now, a thing like this will go on, and maybe we'll get 600 people to read this article that's written about it, and far fewer people actually click through and watch this video to even hear what I'm saying right now. But run something on a major drug bust in downtown Ventura, and 6,000 people will read that article within 24 hours. So that's one of the reasons these reports are done. So we need to calibrate what we read and understand what's really happening and react accordingly. Now, how should we react? Well, that spill never should have happened. What happened is a whole pipeline broke, and because it was grandfathered in, it didn't have an automatic shutoff valve. The automatic shutoff valve would have avoided about 100,000 gallons of oil spilled. And as near as I can tell, of the 100,000 gallons, about 20,000 actually reached the beach and went into the water. Fortunately, because it was happening on the coast, it didn't blow because the prevailing winds are from offshore, so we didn't have a situation where the entire Southern California was blanketed with oil. Now, last week we heard that there was unusual tar balls on the beaches from LA all the way up to here. And I went down to the beach myself. I'm sorry, I didn't see much of a difference. Maybe I was just there on a light day. But what we should do as a result of this is we should maybe look at the oil companies and say maybe they shouldn't grandfather something like that in. Maybe there should be when they proactively make the changes to the latest technology to avoid that from ever happening. Because I promise you, it's going to cost that company a lot more because of that spill than if they hadn't put that cheap valve in. Right? I think the response systems work extremely well already. But I don't think we should have as a bunch of new laws and bureaucracy that are going to increase costs and make it even less likely to have business development in Southern California. That's kind of my quick summary of what I saw from the oil spill.
No, and I'm glad you're talking about it. And you know, with anything that is considered unfortunate, a disaster, whatever you want to call it, it's serious business. One photograph on Facebook of a bird covered in oil speaks a lot of emotions.
I agree. A lot of people don't know that we have a lot of oil seepage in this region. I mean, you go down certain parts of the summer and you'll come out from walking on the beach and the bottom of your feet will be covered with tar. I mean, that's just a fact of life.
It's been happening forever.
It has nothing to do with oil drilling. I've heard that the Native Americans had the same problem long before we ever came along. And David Poo's article, which is coming out probably Thursday or sooner, says that actually it's less now. You know why? Believe it or not, because the oil drilling has reduced the pressures in the oil domes, and it's actually improved. So sometimes good stuff happens.
Yeah, and again, as we pursue the truth, you know, how do I say it factually? It happened. Okay?
It happened, right.
It was, in relatively terms, not as big as some other things. But still, it's like people want, okay, who did this? How did it happen? Who's responsible? Maybe we should punish them. We need to spend more money. I mean, you present truth. And so with that, I'm getting to wrap up sign.
Yeah, well, I would recommend that you read David's upcoming article coming out this Thursday. He's way more knowledgeable than either one of us are on this subject. And I think that would be very enlightening for a lot of people.
Well, based on what you talked about, I think you should put a photograph of this particular Renaissance man. The way you described him doesn't sound like he's like godlike.
I will add that in, thank you.
This is Peter Godinez, again with George Miller of CitizenJournalUS.com.
CitizenJournal.us.
We'll get it right.
By the
It'll
end
be
of
a
the
test.
year, Peter, I think you
Before I'm dead, I will get this
Makes
right.
for good conversation, though.
You know what? That's what people turn in for, my mistakes. Until next time.